We will apply opaque flesh tone to our underpainting without the use of medium. I've premixed a range of flesh tones according to those in the underpainting. I want to apply colors that correspond in value to those of the underpainting, and I want to apply that paint thinly but opaquely. Now you can focus on making tiny corrections and blending your colors together in as realistic and representational way as possible. You don't have to worry about mixing the right value because the values have already been mixed on your palette. And if you apply the wrong value in color to the underpainting itself will provide feedback by standing out in contrast to the color that you've chosen. I'll speed things up just a bit. Because I know I'm not going to be making any major changes since the underpainting has established the composition, I tend to blend as I go during this phase of the painting, putting two, maybe three values down next to one another, and then blending those values together, and then applying two or three values next to those, and applying and mixing them together and with the values that preceded them. Working my way typically from left to right, and that keeps my hand out of the way. Okay, I've got quite a few values in place, fitting together like puzzle pieces. I'll go ahead and start blending them together by either dragging my brush along their seam or stitching back and forth across that seam so that the gradation is a little bit larger. Remember, the key to this process, and this stage in the process particularly, is to paint very thinly but opaquely, without the use of medium to thin out your paint. You want the paint's viscosity, in fact, to stay thick, but you want to spread it out so that you can't see visible brush strokes. In the event that we apply glazing, and we probably will to make color and value adjustments, the glaze won't pool or puddle into any brush strokes if there aren't any brush strokes to begin with. Okay, we finally made it to the fun part. I like to save the eye for last. It's like dessert after a big meal. For demonstration purposes, I'll speed things up again. If you want shiny highlights in your eye to appear bright, you want to make sure that the whites of the eye are not in fact white, but at most a light gray. That way any reflection in the eye can be brighter than that and stand out from the eye, feeling like it's laying on top of the eye and isn't in fact part of the eye. I'm going to use a very soft bristle brush to dust over my painting. Because I painted without medium, and so that my paint is viscous, the soft brush won't actually move the paint around at all. It'll only knock down any brush strokes so that they don't show up during the glazing layers. The opaque layer of the overpainting is now complete. In the layers to follow, we'll scumble and glaze to make color and value adjustments.